They can ask you, like, explain Agile in 2 minutes. This can be a tricky question. Well, it's a controversial question since the definition of Agile is not commonly agreed upon. Is it a methodology? Is it a framework? People always are confused. Agile refers to a set of methods and practices based on values and principles that encourage creative development and collaboration between self-organization teams. So that's what Agile is all about, values and principles. It's a philosophy rather than a methodology or a framework. Next up, we have when to use Agile model. Is it suitable in all the situations? So basically, quality of execution in any project, it depends on choosing the correct process or methodology. In some cases, Agile will be an ideal option, but not always. A flexible development model like Agile should be applied in cases like when you have new changes that needs to be implemented very frequently, when you have complex and bigger projects, so that you can divide them and then combine them, which is the basic principle of Agile. Then you have long-term goals and no bound on requirements. Even then you could opt for Agile when you have no limit on your time and budget. Agile seems to be a good option. Another point is that when you have frequent changes throughout your development cycle, it's easy to use Agile because it allows for you to change the requirement throughout the development cycle. So these are certain cases where you can actually go ahead and use Agile philosophy. Next up, we have state some major principles of Agile. So the moment you hear the word Agile, all these concepts or features should come into your mind, like customer satisfaction, self-organized teamwork, continuous feedback, face-to-face communication, quick respond to changes, sustainable development, and all. All these factors combined together is what we call Agile. Fourth question is, what is Scrum? How is it different from waterfall model? So this Agile model comes in number of forms, meaning there are number of subsets to this Agile project management philosophy, and Scrum is one of them. It's different from traditional waterfall model in multiple ways. For example, in Scrum, feedback is received at earlier stage, which is not the case in waterfall model. It minimizes risk in response to changes. The main focus in Scrum is all about teamwork, or you could say collaborative development. It also increases return of investment, which you get once you release your product to market. It even allows to roll back changes if you are not sure if those are the changes that you want to make or not. So this way, Scrum framework is way much better than traditional waterfall model. The next question is, what is Scrum Sprint? What is the ideal duration for a sprint? To make it simple or for purpose of fees, let's just call it a sprint. This type of question is a very common question in any of these Scrum Master interviews. So basically, a sprint is a regular repeated work cycle and Scrum methodology during which work is completed and made ready for the review. Generally, the duration of a Scrum sprint or a sprint depends upon the size of the project and the team working on the project. And on an average, the duration of a sprint is about 4 weeks, you could say for about 1 month. So this process of dividing the entire framework into sprint makes it easy for the team to estimate, plan, and complete the work in 2 weeks. Secondly, it gives enough time to the product owner to change the priorities more often and allow the teams to adapt quickly to market pressure and user requirements. All these are not possible in traditional waterfall approach, and sprint is a Scrum-related word. Another most common question, which is asked during Scrum Master interviews, is that what are different roles involved in Scrum? So in Scrum, there are basically 3 important roles: product owners, Scrum Master, and development team. Product owner is responsible for the work the team is supposed to complete. The main role of a product owner is to motivate the team to achieve the goal and the vision of the project. So this product owner can take input from others, but when it comes to making major decisions, ultimately, he's the one who is held responsible for it. Next up, we have Scrum Master. Scrum Master ensures that all the team members follow Scrum theories, rules, and practices. He also makes sure that the Scrum team has whatever it needs to complete its work, and he also removes certain challenges like the bottlenecks or if there's an issue between team members and all that. Lastly, we have development team. It's a self-organizing and cross-functional team working together to deliver the product. Scrum development teams are given freedom to organize themselves and manage their own work to maximize the team's efficiency and effectiveness. So these are the three major roles in Scrum framework. Well, we have another question on Agile. What are the most important components of Agile? First up, we have stand-up meetings that are done on a daily basis. You have class responsibilities and collaborators cards. You have time-boxed task boards as in the timeline is fixed and within the timeline you'll have to finish your work. That's what you call a time-boxed task boards. Then you have iteration planning meetings that carry out the iteration development, and then you have something called TDD, or you can say test-driven development, continuous integration, regular code interviews, pair programming, continuous development and delivery, and many other features. Well, all you have is our question asking. What are the three important roles in Scrum framework? And one of them is Scrum Master. So what is the role of a Scrum Master? When you are asked such question, here is how you handle. Scrum Master is a team's resident facilitator responsible for helping all the team members follow Scrum theories, rules and practices. That's the traditional answer which they expect from you. So the Scrum Master makes sure that the team has whatever it needs to complete its work in given amount of time. They also remove challenges like roadblocks that are holding up the progress. They organize meetings, they deal with challenges, or if there are any issues between team members and all that. Well, if they ask you to elaborate on roles and responsibilities, then do that. Otherwise, you could just say Scrum Master is a person who makes sure that all the people in team follows Scrum's theories, rules, and practices. Just to elaborate the previous question, I have another question asking. What are the responsibilities of a Scrum Master? So the Scrum Master serves product owner, development team as well as entire organization. So he has different responsibilities when it comes to product owner, different set of responsibilities when it comes to development team, and whole set of different responsibilities when it comes to organization, and I have picked up most important things and summarized yours. So basically Scrum Master is responsible for resolution of obstacles, conflicts or impediments which could hold team's progress and performance and all that. He is responsible for tracking and monitoring the progress of the team, maximizing the productivity of the team, guiding the team and the product owner and the entire organization in turn to improve the effectiveness of their practices, lead and organize the meetings like daily. Next question. What we have here is, what is the story point? How do you calculate it? Well, when you are working in a team, the most common word that you might come across is a story point. So what is a story point? Each feature in Scrum is a story. A story point is an arbitrary measure used by Scrum teams, and it is a metric used by a giant teams to determine the difficulty of implementing a given story. Now how do you calculate it? It's calculated by taking into consideration the development effort, testing effort, resolving dependencies and other factors that you would require to complete a story. So basically each feature in Scrum is a story, and a story point is a measure which you use to calculate the difficulty of implementing a given story. It's as easy as that. So you calculate it by adding all the development effort, testing efforts, dependencies, and many other factors.